Happy Wednesday! It is Wednesday IG Live. Let's have some lunch together and talk all things real estate. So, this is part three of my realtor perspective today. I have really enjoyed this series. Being able to talk to other agents and kind of discuss, what we're telling our clients and frankly, what we're telling ourselves these days, as well. I'm super excited about that. So, today we're I am, first of all, anybody that knows me knows I love me some Kenya Green. And I'm trying to figure out why all these people keep calling me. They know I'm on live with you at noon. You got to. Got to know that. So, I'm super excited. So, let's see if we can't get Kenya Green on. Let's see. Let's see. There she is. There she is. How are you? You did it. I'm so happy for you.
Jonna, girl, this was like, what is happening? But I want to let you know you are a great teacher. You taught the student how to get on live IG. Listen, I thank you so much because the struggle was real. I was like, wait a minute, where's the buttons?
I,
Where's the buttons? So, Jonna, good job. Way to
well,
go.
can I tell you what's not a struggle?
Yeah.
Is his hair. Your hair is beautiful.
Thank you, Boo. Shout out to my hairdressers, plural.
I mean, sometimes you gotta have more than one hairdresser. I mean, I get it. I get it. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Honey, so we're gonna jump right in it because I know you got a million things to do, and so we're gonna jump right in it. So let's start it off. I know who you are. Can you let everybody know who you are?
Well, first and foremost, I am Jonna's big sister. Okay, let's be clear. I am part of her family. And listen, I am a realtor. I help people in the Metro Atlanta area. We know buy, sell, invest in real estate. But again, I just go back to I am Jana's sister and friend. So it's just amazing to be on this live with you because I
Yeah.
need everybody to know too that you are absolutely dope, amazing, all the things. So for me to be on this call with you, I'm like, what? It's a privilege to me.
Honey, I am grateful because one thing I know about Kenya Green's schedule is it is very jam packed every day. It is busy, it is itemized, and it is not to be played with. I know, I know for 100% it is not to be played with. So let's just jump right in it.
Sure.
Real estate, Atlanta. It's a little different than it used to be. Kenya, how long have you been a real estate agent? Again, I know this answer, but everybody don't know that answer.
You know what? Really, I got licensed in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was licensed, but I was still a full-time teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say 2006, but I didn't really get serious maybe until a year or so later. So
Okay.
almost 18 years in the business.
Love it. So, how would you describe our current real estate market?
I'm still going to err on the side that it's still a dynamic market. I still believe that. So if your buyers or sellers are listening, they need to know that. And I think that we're seeing well, let me say this. I think that I'm seeing a steady demand, especially in the metro counties, whether that's DeKalb County, Fulton County, Cobb County, Gwinnett, right? I just think that we're seeing a continual steady demand for real estate first and foremost. And I also think that the inventory, well, let me go back. It depends also on your growth, the growth and the lifestyle that's here in Atlanta. And I think that the inventory has increased over the past couple of years compared to maybe that pandemic market.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're in a still a hopeful market. So I don't think it's all gloom and doom of what you're constantly hearing, sometimes on television. It's still great opportunities out there.
I mean, I've always been a learning kind of an agent. So the masterminds and whatnot that I've been on, it does talk about how we are in a buyer's market, right? It's
Yeah.
an unprecedented one because everybody will tell you, oh, you need 6 months or more of inventory to be a technical buyer's market. However, we don't have 6, but we do have 5, right? And so
Right.
sellers still have control because they are who controls the price that you list that property at. Now we're going to interpret the market the way wherever we can. But if your seller chooses to overprice a house, right, then they're choosing to just sit on the market instead of actually getting their house sold and being an active participant in this real estate market. So to your point, it is 100% a different market, but I feel like everybody has an advantage in this market.
Hmm.
Sellers and
Extreme.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Extreme.
yeah, what kind of advice are you giving your clients in about this market?
Well, let's just start with the buyers. I think for the buyers, I always recommend, no matter what market you're in, just to be prepared, right? And so my old principal used to say, listen, you have to plan, prepare, and then guess what? You execute. So you still have to do that in this market regardless. So on the buyer end, it could be, we have to be really keen on how to prep you financially
Mm-hmm.
for this market. So that's one, right? How are your finances lined up? And then two, we're sellers, we're looking at the best way to present your property to buyers. And that presentation, no matter what it is, your home has to be well presented. And then we already know the condition, right? It has to be well conditioned. So I just think whatever market you're experience, those are the conversations that you need to have. Well priced, well presented home, and that will always attract the right buyers. But buyers now need to know that they have ample opportunity now, like you were just saying, at your masterminds. People are talking about, listen, we're not quite there at the 6 months inventory, but it's still your opportunity to grab something amazing because there's more options
Yeah.
available.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and I'm sure you're experiencing this too. Like I have buyers who are actually getting everything that's on their list. There was a time where you were like, all right, give me your top 5, and I might be able to get you 3 of those things, right? 4 if we're really feeling lucky. But I'm literally having buyers that are checking off everything that they've asked for, and that's a rarity, right? I mean,
It is rare.
might have to compromise on, but for the most part, everybody's kind of getting what they need. So, and we're in an industry that is 100% um, very glamorized on social media and in reality TV. So, you told me what advice you'd give to buyers and sellers, but what kind of advice would you give to people that are either looking to get in this industry or have just gotten into this industry?
Gosh. I think that's such a good question because you can see social media, like you said, and sometimes it's often glamorized. So let me just speak for myself. No. I wish I had all of that glamour, but that is not Kenya's journey. I think the real journey is this. I'm going to prep, if you're a new agent, just prepping you to say this. You still got to put in the work, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even for me, after 18 years of business, you still have to, and I'm going to go back to the 3 P's: plan, well, 2 P's: plan, prepare, and then the execute.
Oh yeah.
So when you're getting into a new situation, or career, business, whatever that is, you just have to be mindful of, first of all, planning. Um, God forbid, listen, you can go months, months without a sale. So you want to make sure that you're financially responsible. You want to make sure that you're getting into a good environment, whatever brokerage or mentorship, coaching, whatever that looks like. But you need to make sure that you're fully equipped so that you can do this job, because it's I want to say it's very rewarding, but there's some spaces there too where it could be very challenging. So I don't want people to have a false hope. Like I had somebody say, "Well, all I'm going to do is just sell $1 million properties. That's it." I said, "Okay." Okay, so what's your plan behind getting just nothing but $1 million properties? And if someone comes to you that wants to sell a $400,000 property, how are you going to, deal with that? Because you said you just want to deal with $1 million up. So oftentimes I'm just seeing people just not have a plan.
That
And
is,
so
I
you
want
got to
to
have it.
be a realtor. I want to be, a luxury realtor. Like that's really the plan. Like that's just what I want to be. So that's the plan.
And that's fine. So, but what are you telling them? Like when they say that to you?
I tell them that in Atlanta, everybody is a celebrity. So get out here and hustle because it's a grind every day. Your schedule matters, your discipline matters, and discipline not just in your day to day, right? To your point, your financial discipline matters because I don't know how long Kenya's ever gone, but I probably have gone maybe about 4 or 5 months. Not recently, God bless. But in the past, I've gone a few months without closings, and this is one of those careers where you're going to put a lot of upfront money into transactions, whether that's gas, whether that's time, right? If you're listing a house, photos, the marketing, all of that is upfront money that you don't get until on the back end when you sell the house.
Mhm.
So having those tough conversations with other agents as well as with that seller about, hey, overpricing your house may sound great, but I'm fronting a good deal of money to get your house sold. And if I'm not confident in that price because of what the market has told me, that's a conversation that you have to have with your seller, or you're gonna be throwing money away.
That's a fact. That's a
Yeah.
fact. Oh, and that's good. You said about what, 5 months that you went
Mm-hmm.
without being compensated. Oh, I would say mine was about 6 months, and it wasn't too long ago. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Two. So I mean, it's real out here in these streets. Okay. Very real in these realtor streets. But again, if you can fully, I think, you know what, when I stepped away from teaching, I had about maybe $10,000 saved up. And it took me literally about 4 or 5 months to get my first closing. So I was just thankful that I had that, right? But then, girl, the next year that was totally depleted, and my sales were still very slim to none. So, you I'm not trying to, beat a dead horse and say, hey, you shouldn't do it, but just be prepared all the way through and get with someone who has been in the biz and who has that experience to say, okay, these are some things and some factors that you need to be looking for. And this is how, you will be able to deal with clients and get clients. So it's coaching, it's all the things like I said before, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So, and our business has changed in a way where we are, and I don't really have any other way to say it, but I'm just going to say it. We are more than just people that open doors, right? We're consultants, yes, but we're also therapists, right? We're not licensed therapists, but we're definitely therapists, right? But we're also comedians. We're also marriage counselors. We're also like, we're helping you make a really big financial decision. And so we have to be economists, right? We have to know what's going on in the area. We have to know, we have to have a degree in urban planning. Like, we have to know a bunch of different things. And so our industry and our job has changed because our consumers are a lot smarter than they used to be because they have a plethora of places to go and get this kind of information. So how would you say that your job has changed in the last couple of years?
I mean, everything that you said, we have to wear so many different hats. So I think, I always err on the side of these four E's, at least for me in my business. It's about really making sure that my people are educated, right? That they're empowered,
Mm.
that they are equipped.
Oh,
And then I think the last one is the encouragement, right? So I have seen that in all facets of my business. And so I do use those four E's often. And so when I'm in the consultation with my clients, I'm saying, okay, these four E's, they're real. Uh, I have seen,
let's back up a second.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that's a jewel. Did y'all hear that jewel? Like, come on, King. You can't just drop a jewel like that and think we're not gonna deep dive in that. Like
Okay, well, we can deep dive in it.
four E's. So in
Four
education,
E's. Educate.
e-
Yeah.
encouragement, and what was the last one?
And then educate. Did you say educate?
Yeah, educate,
Empower,
empower.
educate, equip,
Ooh, okay.
right?
And
And then encourage. Yeah. Those are the four E's because realistically, when we are with our clients, we are doing all four E's, right? And it's our job to educate, right, people about their opportunities in the real estate market, and then two, to equip them. I mean, look, you could also add empower, right? We are always empowering them and saying, listen, you can do this. I know this is one of the largest investments that you're going to make, but you can do this. So you can add that E too. But if we're not doing that, then I think that we are really not adding value to the client, right? And it's our job to do that. It
wow,
really is. It's our job to make them prepared on, I am here to help you thrive and for you to accomplish your real estate goal.
wow.
Period. Period.
Educate, equip, empower, and encourage. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Those down because I'm about to. Yeah, that was big. That was big. Like because your clients can't make a decision whether a buyer or a seller, right? If you don't educate them on their opportunities, if you don't equip them with the knowledge on how to move forward, if you don't empower them to understand, like the power is truly in their hands, one way or the other, right?
Right.
Give them that encouragement because who in this day and age doesn't need some encouragement? Because everybody I know is going through something.
Everybody.
Everybody's going through something.
Everybody. Everybody is going through something, and it's not always going to be glorious. And so that's why I added the encouragement piece, because oftentimes we do have to encourage, right? Shoot, not all of our clients, but ourselves.
On a daily.
You, I mean, really. So it's like, well, no, I really, me and my assistant, we just kind of we dove deeper into. I was telling him, I said, listen, even when we hit hard times in real estate, right? We have to be connected to something
Yeah.
greater than just, the transaction, et cetera. So you really have to be intentional about why you're doing what you're doing. Why in the heck are you going to get up every single day to do what you do? And so those E's, thank God he put them in my spirit, was like, well, listen, this is what you need to be doing. And then we dove deeper into our core values, right? Why are you like, I'm doing this? I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I also want to, legacy and all the other things that I wrote down, but you got to be very clear of why you're doing something.
Oh yeah.
And intentionality is everything.
You talked about getting up to do this over and over again, right? Because I know you have literally had to get up on days when you did not feel like getting up. You didn't feel like talking to nobody, but you had to be pleasant. You didn't feel like going anywhere, but you had to show up
Yeah.
in the way that only Kenya Green can show up, right? And you had to be all those E's to your clients. So that's something that I would definitely have a conversation with some newer agents or just people that are interested in getting in the business. Like, there are going to be days when you don't feel like talking to that person not one more time about that inspection, about this earnest money, about this closing, that you don't feel like having that conversation at all, but you still got to show up.
You still got to show up. I like what you said. That is so true. But you know what? There's something in showing up too.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, I tell newer agents too, sometimes it's just not going to be the quick fix of, okay, I'm going to get, $100,000 tomorrow. It's really about you being connected and sowing the seeds, because we know when we sow those seeds, of course, eventually it's going to reap a harvest. But you really have to, the connection piece and like knowing why you're doing what you're doing will help you get up when you don't see what you want to see in terms of that manifestation. I
Absolutely.
mean, really and truly. So you do have to keep it real. Just the other day, I said, I quit. I said, I'm about tired of this. And then somebody was like, okay, well, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. I'm done. So guess what? For that moment, I did throw in the to you really have to be able to throw it in, but then God threw it back at me. But it's okay to just step away for a moment, but you still got to get back to it. But that's why you said when you show up, what show up, but then know why you're showing up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100%. What and because we are in an industry that is so over glamorized and so like I think people just truly think we just open doors and that's it. But
Mm,
what do you think the biggest misconception is, not only about our industry, but about this market that we're in right now?
that's a good question. I mean, I've heard maybe not necessarily probably my clients. I think probably one of the big misconceptions are homes are not selling,
Mm.
right? I've heard some conversations around that, like, well, they're just sitting and they're not selling. And for me, I feel that's a misconception because when I look on the FMLS and Georgia MLS, homes are selling.
Homes are
Now,
absolutely going under
they
contract
they, they are going under contract. Now,
and
do
getting stable.
Yeah, correct, right? Abs 100%. So, I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions. But when in reality, we know that pricing and strategy matters.
Absolutely.
So realtors like yourself, right, myself, and all the great colleagues that we know that are doing business on such a high level, we know that it's in that strategic consultations that you're sitting down and implementing strategies for that particular client to be able to win.
Mm.
Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. I'm also hearing too that no, I've heard a couple people say, well, interest rates are just absolutely ridiculous right now. They're all in the sevens and eights, and I'm like, Eh, I haven't I haven't seen that. Uh, I'm seeing a difference in interest rates and actually an improvement, right, in interest rates, which means we all know that that's going to be a better affordability for our buyers. So I'm starting to see some of those conversations, but I think that we have to get more like you're doing the lives, right, and educating people on the current real estate market.
Absolutely. Like I'll hear people say, "Oh, well, homes are just sitting." The overpriced
Mhm.
ones are.
Correct.
The ones that are not in great condition are. And even with the ones that are not in great condition, I still encourage my buyers, if you feel like this home is overpriced, I still encourage them to submit an offer. If you
Mm.
like this home enough, submit an offer. All the seller's gonna do is say yes or no. They might say yes, they might say no, or they might counter. Either way, you don't know what you don't know until you absolutely know. So if you submit that offer, if it's you feel like it's priced at 350 and you feel like it needs to be at 325, if you submit at 325 and the seller takes it, now what?
Right.
Now you got a house. And that's the whole point of this whole thing. So uh I 100% agree with you. I think a lot of times we listen to the media, not understanding that media, the news, it is a national level versus a local level. But to your point,
Right.
conversations with the amazing person like Kenya Green, who can give you a more localized account of what's actually going on in this market, make you feel a whole lot better about things. You have to be able to look at things the way they are versus where the way you think they are.
Absolutely. Well, you're right. You're so right about that. And again, we're bringing out that E again, right? Which is the education piece. And
Absolutely.
the more that we can educate and equip you and empower you, right, and encourage, then you are going to knock out your real estate goal, whether that's buying, selling, or investing. I
Absolutely.
mean, period, period. So, there's always gonna be misconceptions in the real estate business,
Hmm.
right? Whether it's this or hey, it's the glamour piece of it, it's always going to be something. So I just ask that if you are a buyer or seller, you got to seek out the running realtor ATL. Okay, I mean, really, you have to have someone that's going to be able to guide you through the process.
Absolutely. And then not only hire that person because who you work with matters, but trust that they are a master of their craft and they know what they're talking about, right? So trust that they're able to actually empower you, equip you, educate you, and encourage you, right? I'm going to be taking those 4 E's because that's awesome. I like that.
I'm glad you do.
I,
I'll take it. I
I,
don't have it trademarked, okay? So you can take it.
okay. Okay. So we're in this market, right? We're getting ready to hit the fourth quarter. What do you feel like that people are not paying attention to that they should be paying attention to, whether they're a buyer or a seller or really an agent?
Wow, that's great. That they should be paying attention to, but they're not. I'm gonna see, let's see, what am I experiencing in my everyday life? I just think some people are just so I see this. I just think some people are very comfortable with what, their everyday life and what they're experiencing, and I think that's great. And sometimes that level of comfort doesn't lead to seeking out
Mm-hmm.
additional knowledge of, hey, this could happen if you were open to diversifying your portfolio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing probably more people comfortable, but I always kind of tell people, to get something different and to get something better, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say have more consultations with your prospective team, especially your real estate, advisor,
Mm-hmm.
on what are some options for me to grow, my wealth portfolio. I would love for more people to do that. I would.
Yeah, I definitely think that enough buyers are not paying attention to the fact that your first home is typically your first investment property. Um,
Yes.
a lot of buyers these days are they're looking to knock it out the park right out the first, right out the bat, instead of thinking like, okay, I can grow in this space, right? This will be good for me today, and in 5 years, it can be my first investment property because people are always going to have somewhere to live, right? You don't necessarily have to have that 5 bedroom, 3 bathroom on a basement on an acre lot the first time you buy a house, right? It can be that 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, or the 3-1, or the 2-1, or 2-2, and then it become an amazing uh investment property down the line, getting you $1,500+ a month on that mortgage. Like, that's a great investment strategy to be able to go into spaces and get what you're looking to do versus looking to knock it out of the park where you're paying your $3,500 mortgage every month, right? That's something I definitely think a lot of buyers should be a lot more, they should be paying more attention to. And I really want my sellers to look at not only what's closed, but I want them to look at what's pending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at
For
what
sure.
let's look around and see, hey, that house was listed at 450, it's still on the market. This house over here was listed at 425 and is now under contract, and they have multiple offers because multiple offers still do exist.
They do. They do.
So, I mean, those are just some things that I would love for people to pay attention to. But as a seasoned agent like yourself, your relationships are top tier to you. What's some advice you would give an agent or what do you think agents should be paying more attention to, especially the newer ones in this market?
Yeah. So to my new agents, and I'm really going back to, you know what, and let me do this too. I want to add something with those buyer and seller. I think the buyers should also be really paying close attention, right, to the long-term values versus the short-term interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we've said it before. Uh, and in our industry, we hear this all the time, but you literally are marrying the what? The
Man,
house.
dating the rate.
And you're dating the rate. So I really want people to kind of keep honing in on that in terms of a buyer. And I think the seller piece is just, you know, we just need to keep focusing on market readiness, right?
Mm.
My nieces say, well, Auntie, if you stay ready, you don't have to what?
You don't got to get ready.
You know how to get ready. So I think that's really big, but that's where Jonna's coming in and forming her clients about what the small updates, of the current local market, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera. So just staying a student,
Yeah.
right? And being open to learning. So I'll pivot back to the new agents. I think the new agents, mm-mm-mm. What hit me was faith,
Mm-hmm.
right? Making sure, and I don't know who you serve. For me, it's Jesus, but just having faith, right? Knowing that if you're called to this, um, I think about that. Sometimes you're going to go through some stuff but the pain sometimes has a great purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to remember that real estate is bigger than you. You get an opportunity to help so many people,
Mm-hmm.
right? With one of the largest investments of their lives. And whatever that person, seller or buyer is experiencing, you get to be the front face of them, excuse me, accomplishing a great, awesome goal. So have faith.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, you really do need to sit down with someone just to help you plan your business and how you're going to get business. Good Lord, please have some reserves, right? Don't be
Sure.
over here going, okay, okay. Uh, can you have maybe some emergency fund? That would be great because it's cost. There's upfront costs to doing business. And then figure out what you like to do because I used to teach a class and it was run your race.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's journey is different. And guess what? That's okay. But the sooner you discover who you are, and I always tell people, remind yourself of who you are, whose you are,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna be okay. But it's a marathon. It's truly not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if you can be more relational and not transactional, that's going to go so far for you in the business.
Absolutely. You talked about earlier about planting the seeds, right? And so I joke that I'm a country city girl. So I know about tilling soil and I know about planting seeds and I know about the harvest time. So I think in our day and age when we're looking for instant gratification, your point about understanding whose you are and who you are will go a long way in you planting those seeds, right? Because of course, the more seeds you plant, the bigger your harvest will be. The thing about it is, are you strong enough, disciplined enough to wait on the harvest? Because you got to put the work. Got to.
Baby, baby.
You got to put
That
the.
you got to put the work in. I mean, and I think me and we, for let me just, I mean, full transparency. I mean, it's been some challenging years, right? When I first got into the business, it's like, what? I mean,
Yeah.
from having no money to saying I need to borrow some money. I mean, it's just so it is really something, but you just have to remember that your journey, wherever you are in your life, it's temporary.
Yeah.
and seasons really do change. So you just, I mean, Nike says it all the time. Just do it, and don't give up. But I also want to say too, if you're called to it, um, this is not going to be everybody's jam.
Mm-mm.
And that's okay too. But you really have to be true to it.
Yeah.
Uh, and you have to know that there is a purpose of what you're doing, because you're being a servant too in this business. You're being a servant too. So it's like you don't want to be playing. And if this is not your jam, that's okay.
Oh yeah.
John takes referrals.
I really do. I, this has been a phenomenal conversation, Kenya. I appreciate you carving out a little time to have a little lunch with me today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. And again, thank you for educating me, that E, on how to get on live, baby girl. I am so thankful for you. I absolutely love you. I appreciate my time with you.
You're welcome. Now, where can people get in contact with you if they need your amazing real estate services?
They can just hit me up right here on Instagram, Realtor Kenya T Green 87, or so that's what the DM, or you can reach me directly on my phone 770-639-9871.
Kenya, I absolutely adore you. You know that. I cannot wait for us to go and have some drink. We need to go out for your birthday this year, man, because we've been missing. We've been we've been missing that, but definitely gonna reconnect. Kenya, it's always a pleasure seeing you, whether it's virtually or in person. Thank you so much to everyone online. Thank you so much again for joining me on our Wednesday lunchtime IG Live. This was part 4 of our Realtor Perspective. Join me next week for part 4. Y'all have a good one. Bye, honey.
Bye bye.